Alright gamers, we are back once again for more of our gaming collection guide for Soul Calibur 2 featuring Link. And without further ado, let's just continue our way through Weapon Master Mode. Okay, so here we go. Underway, starting off Chapter 6 with Valley of the Dead. Alright, let's go through to it. Defeat the enemy within the time limit. Okay, so some of these might get a little more challenging as we go, as you guys are obviously aware. The further you get in the game, go figure, the missions might get a little bit harder. So we've got to defeat him in 15 minutes. It doesn't seem that bad, but for some reason, of course, Berserker is the bane of our existence, if you guys recall. We had a hell of a time last time, and obviously we're not doing too great this time either. So we're just hoping to, get the upper hand here. Now he is obviously able to take a lot of damage, so we realize that and start going for the ring out. For obvious reasons, not gonna lie. Class up to level 10 though to do it, but we had to win with a little bit of ringing out cheese right there because Berserker was giving us a bit of a rough time there. So we defeat the Castle of the Dead, then we move on to the city of something, begins with an N. Nashira? So the prize money doubles with each win. Gauge your strength and win the matches. So the idea here is you can quit after winning one match at any time. I believe that's this one. But the money pits, this is where you make a lot of gold. This is how you make... This is one of the few missions where you can make a lot of gold for the other, obviously, when you're going to need it for all the different shops and stuff. So here we are taking on Mitsurugi and trying to not take a whole lot of damage, but boom, he gets the upper hand on us just as we were about to defeat him. We're at about half health. Now you do not recover, so you have to decide whether you want to keep going or keep the money. You will fail if you die, so you can win all 5 challenges, keep doubling your money, but we're trying to win this thing. We'll worry about gold collecting later on. So we win that one pretty handily. And boom, now we get to fight against Sungmina, where the weapons enemy, or the enemy's weapon, sorry, the weapons enemy, has the ability to guard break. So let's go through against Sungmina, who, that's, okay, that was certainly an angle, that was a shot. So I believe, is this our first time fighting Sungmina in Weapon Master Mode? Because this might be exactly how we get her. Because she's the last one to unlock out of the 3 specials, which you don't do until later. So we defeat her, a new feature. Yeah, this is probably how you get the 20th character available for arcade mode, character profiles, etc. Obviously, yeah. So Sungmina, there we go. Starting this video off strong, we got Sungmina, so that means an extra weapon. Of course, her normal weapon plus Sungmina as a character now unlocked. I hate these missions. The guard impact ones, I bloody hate them. I hate trying to guard impact on different characters. I'm not adept at it. I really suck at it, and yeah. It's the only way to damage them though, and you only have 50 seconds to do it and stuff, so you gotta just, you know. But thankfully she took so much from it. Now this is early on. I think I'm remembering my my hell in the second version when you have to go through this a second time, or maybe there's a similar one where you have to do it to multiple characters or something. I forget right offhand, but anyways, obviously that went on without a hitch, so I worried for nothing. I anticipated. I said, oh, you guys, this mission, I get like, and then boom, we do it in 2 shots. So obviously I'm thinking of a different mission. Now that's a sexy ass sword Young Sung's got going on there. That is one hell of a nice sword. Alright, so we go for the grapple. We really shouldn't have, because we were doing just fine with our attacks, but oh wow. He's really got something going there. He's got a lot of reach there, but we managed to beat him pretty handily, like it was a fair fight. We get another feature, plus we are now level 12. Let's go. So this is where we unlock Extra Survival Standard Mode. So in Chapter 6, that's how you get another mode, which once again adds to our museum collection. That's our museum collection. So now the last mission, of course, of Chapter 6 is a dungeon. Difficulty level 4 out of 5. Now this dungeon might actually include almost as many rooms as the sub-dungeon. This might include 20 odd rooms. I'm going to guess 14. Let's go. You know, because the dungeon's at the very end of the game. Chapter 6, there's, you know, 9 chapters or so. 9 or 10 chapters, and then you have, of course, your extra chapters and your sub-chapters, but those ones are a little different. Now, this one, if you can tell, look at that timer. 184. We started with 200 seconds. You only have 200 seconds to reach the boss and win. So, that's something I don't realize when we first start this, by the way. That's something I do not take into account and I do not realize. Because I didn't read the little thing. You know, it's probably mentioned somewhere in the little information bubble when you click the dungeon. But I didn't realize it at the time. So I'm just going through, la-di-da-di-da, not worrying about going for, like, ring outs and stuff to make sure I preserve enough time with it. Mitsurugi in his 3rd outfit, by the way. Looking pretty dapper. So 2 rooms in, and we're already down about 30-odd seconds.
Final battle. Fight.
Now, of course, our favorite move with Link is just the quick overhand, and oh, we almost wrung out ourselves, I should say. Is it wrung out or ring out? Like, when you ring out yourself, do you say you were wrung out? Or you wrung out yourself? I don't know. Now we're down 40 seconds, and we've beaten 3 rooms. So hopefully I was mistaken, and there's only about a dozen rooms or so. You know, and it's not on the plus side of 14, you know. Now against Astaroth here, if we can get an early... Yeah, that trip up. Go for it. Try to hit him when he's... No, and he guards. We managed to block that one. We do get the ring out, so that one only took 10 seconds. That's pretty good. Alright. And once again, the dungeons give you almost no experience until you fight the boss. They don't give you any experience. You only get a little bit of gold. So we're going all the way around the room here.
Final battle. Fight.
Against Keelik. Ooh. Sometimes hyper offense isn't the best, but when you're feeling that time restraint, you know, it really sucks. But obviously, I don't think I'm aware of that until maybe around here shortly after this fight. I'm noticing, I'm like, wow, the timer hasn't gone up or down. Now, here's where we're going to see something interesting. Does the timer go back? It does. So I learned this lesson. I think that's when I realized it. Right there in that fight. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. The timer actually went up, but only to 150 when I started the thing. So you have unlimited tries, basically, with each room. But, you know, however long you take per fight is going to stay. So once I beat Keelik here with 137, now we're only out of 137. We can't go up from there. So, definitely doable. Like, we're making good time, but it was kind of scary at first. Because, look, it's not just 5 rooms or something like that, you know what I mean? If you take too long. And the first couple rooms took us 20, 30 seconds, you know, so... And Ivy again. Ooh. Trying to get on her bad side or her good side. I don't know which side you would consider that. Nearly get her to the ring out. Doesn't manage to happen. And down to 123 seconds. But a new feature was unlocked. So pay attention to which fight this was on which block. You end up getting the halberd for Sung Mina. If you do this challenge at the same time frame that I did right away, you will get the halberd for free. So that's another weapon down there. Because it was a dead end, so now we continue down along the path. I believe it ends up in a square, and the boss is either to the north or south square right afterwards. So we will probably fight the boss at about 70-odd seconds to spare, if that's correct. Or if we just sit here lollygagging against another Ivy. Lots of Ivies in this dungeon. Anybody notice that? Get a ring out, but it's when she was basically at all her health was gone anyways. 109 seconds left, so less than 2 minutes remaining to defeat the last, probably, I'm going to guess, 4 rooms. So 4 rooms in 2 minutes. Quite easily doable, depending on how much the boss gives us grief. If we get an easy ring out or something like that, that'll definitely help. So Mitsurugi is obviously here giving us a little bit of grief. We're officially down under 100 seconds as a result. trying to go for the grapple. He's kicking our ass pretty well here. And I'm not exactly utilizing the strategy of, oh, let yourself be killed or anything. And we use the full amount of time, so we go from 109 down to 84 seconds just for one of those fights. Most fights, once again, give you a timer of about 50 seconds, give or take. So if we don't reach the boss, you know, with anything more than 50 seconds or so, you know, it could be an issue. I'm sure like 30 seconds would be more than enough, you know, as long as we're not extended in the fight. But here, like, we've already started off with Keelik there. But we get a ring out right out of the gate. So even though that one sort of was going a little slower pace, we got some early damage, that kind of idea. We end up getting rung out by Keelik anyways. So now we get a second shot at it. Once again, 84 seconds. I think we're okay. But I, once again, did not pay attention to the timer for a lot of it. I still think it's adequate amount of time. Like, obviously, all these fights, we haven't won them all by, like, quick 5-second ring outs in almost any of them. They've been almost all damage, high offense, that kind of idea. There's 72 seconds left and 3 battles to go. So, yeah. Yeah, I knew there'd be one more. Okay, so there's one more room after the corner room and then the boss, most likely right down to the bottom south.
Final battle. Fight.
Boom! Get that grapple on Ivy, trying to knock, and that ring out really helped because that only took us, you know, less than 10 seconds. We did that in 8. So now we have 64 seconds to do this last battle before I am going to assume the boss. And once again, just make sure you go to that dead end. You don't have to fight all these fights, of course, if you're worried about timing. And of course, the bane of our existence, Berserker. The guy who always gives us so much grief. Yep, still giving us lots of grief. And uses up quite a bit of time there, but we are exactly at 50 seconds for this one. And once again, it's clear that you recover all the health going forward in this dungeon, so never worry about health. And here comes the boss. But yeah, so you can avoid a lot of these battles. Go up, get your halberd, and then go from there. So this is Hob, the Assassin's Blade. Okay, so we battle him in this dungeon. Okay. Let's go. He's going to try to show us what's what. Oh, we have to... So we have 2 people to fight with 50 seconds. So you got to basically beat them. Okay, he's being really kind to us at first there. He was letting us do a lot of attacking. So definitely go hyper offense on this one. You don't have a lot of wait time, and the assassin does like to guard, so already he used up a good 21 seconds there. So you want to definitely enter this fight with at least 45-50 seconds because you don't want to feel rushed in the final fight here against Astaroth. And as you can tell, you don't get all your health back from the assassin's fight either, so you want to take that into account. But with Astaroth, there's always the possibility of a quick ring out, so we did that in plenty of time, but just managed the clock a little better than I did, and you'll be fine. New feature unlocked, along with a level up to level 13, and our feature is the Labyrinth. So officially something else to add to the main collection other than a weapon, so another stage unlocked. That's fantastic. And that's the end of Chapter 6. So we did Chapter 6, pretty straightforward, no big deal. And we move on to Wriggle, which only has 3 missions in it. It's Chapter 7, but it does have a dungeon, and I believe that dungeon's a little extensive. I can't believe we just lost 2 against 1. Impressive. Hob and Lambardi, defeated in battle against you, fell down where they stood and slowly disappeared from view as the water swallowed them. Perhaps Veril something something. His men had been waiting for you inside the underground passage. That could only mean that you were headed in the right direction. Successfully defeating your enemies, you headed for the exit and reached the surface before the water filled the passage. Even compared to the locations through which you've traveled so far, Wriggle was an especially bleak and desolate area. Despite the abundance of rivers, there was a region parched earth and scraggly vegetation. From what Bastian and the priest in Altair said, you knew that the cursed sword was not located there. But one could be easily convinced that Soul Edge something something. It was understandable that Veril came here in search of Soul Edge. The image of the gate in Mizar sliced cleanly in two, flashed briefly through your mind. It was just a matter of time before you caught up with him. Our editing was a little better. Oh, there is no dungeon on this one. Sorry, I'm thinking of another chapter. So chapter 7, you've just got 3 missions. That last one with the skull, you guys can guess what that is, and it is not fun. Oh no. So receive heavy damage when knocked against the ground or wall. Defeat the enemy under this condition. So obviously we don't do a whole lot of damage, I believe, to each other outside of doing that type of thing. Oh, and yeah, and we take... Oh, we're taking okay damage. Let's see. Is it just us? Yeah, okay. So he can damage us with normal attacks. And he's got high defense. We need to damage him. So this proves to be a little bit difficult. Unless you've got, your guys' moves and what combos to use to knock people on their feet. Obviously, you are under a time limit. So even though we're doing quite well, Maxi we're only getting him on the ground. We're not knocking him against the wall, which the wall does a lot more damage, by the way. I've always found that. So we're trying to knock him against the wall, and we're not succeeding. And he's managing to block those last ones. The timer goes down, and lo and behold, you can win. You don't need to defeat the opponent. You just have to have more health by the time the timer's up. Something I was not aware of at that time, and I said, shit, I gotta do this again. Nope, you're good. So we win that one. Now there's only 2 more missions left. This one is interesting. This is where we face our rival Leon once again. Our rival Leon. Which, yeah, this froze up for some reason at that point. And I forget exactly why it was so glitchy. I think that I was having a computer issue at the time or something. But it would not... It was the frame rate just dropped to 0 and then stayed there for a minute. And then all of a sudden everything was back to, so... I was worried that I was going to have to replay some of these missions and stuff, but as you can see, like all of a sudden my frame rate just said no for a second, and then it comes back, and then it does it again and stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to reset. I believe I reset after this mission. I'm just like, okay, something's acting up with the emulator, something's acting up with my computer, what have you. But either way, here's where I try to face off against Leon, where the conditions aren't really that important, as you guys can tell, because here we just KO him. We defeat him, and you will unlock a new feature as a result. And what is it? It's the Phoenix Court has been added. It's another stage. So I believe that might not be all the stage. I believe there's one more stage maybe. But yeah, so Chapter 7, 2 out of 3 missions complete. And then you got to go to the Forbidden Grounds. You got to face Inferno outside of arcade mode. And sometimes he's not that fun. He's not that fun. But maybe I'm remembering the second run through this, which is a lot harder, by the way. It's a lot harder. But let's see. So Valdo Inferno. Can't see myself doing that. Well, let's see. Okay, we get the early jump on him. He's down to about half. We try for the grapple, of course. That was a stupid idea. Keep up the sword moves. Don't let him an inch. And we're still letting him... He does more damage to us than we do to him, but we've got just one little attack left, but Valdo's Valdo, and boom. So yeah, once again, it's just the PTSD from the second time you run through this. So we level up to level 15, and we also get a new feature. So another thing to unlock, and it is when you beat Inferno the first time on Chapter 7, you unlock Soul Edge Growth for Nightmare. So a free Nightmare weapon, Soul Edge weapon. They're quite expensive. So definitely worthwhile grabbing that instead of spending money on it. And boom, Chapter 7 is now complete. Pretty straightforward, right? Now we move on to Chapter 8, the Third Gate into Mirok. To the east of Aldebaran lay the Holy Land of Mirok. Here existed the third of the 3 gates that sealed Soul Edge, as well as the Grand Shrine of Mirok, a name which even ordinary citizens were familiar. Of course, few knew that the shrine was sealing the cursed sword. You experienced a bit of the Evil Blade's power in the Forbidden Grounds when you battled against the monster of flame born from a fragment of Soul Edge, hence why you battle Inferno there, right? Oh, wow. We actually allowed ourselves enough time to read this time. Crazy. You lost track of Vero while dealing with the monster. I have obtained the power to destroy the gate. It was safe to assume that those words that he was headed for Marok. You hurried back to the second gate at Aldebaran, which was guarded by Bastion. The gate had been destroyed. Bastion was nowhere to be found, just with the gate in Mizar. This one was cut in two with a single stroke, but this time it was also scorched black. You let out a shudder as you recalled your battle in the Forbidden Grounds. Passing through the two gates and chasing after Veril, you entered Marok, but the landscape was as far as ideal of a holy land as anyone could imagine. The entire area was awash with signs of destruction. Craters of black ash littered the ground. Bridges and roadways were destroyed, and pillars of black smoke rose on the horizon. Was this all Viril's doing? And boom, Sirius is the next place. Sirius is definitely the next place. Oh yeah, you can see my mouse go across the thing there. I was probably double checking like any of the problems that we just had with the last mission or so to make sure that all the frame rate was going all good. Seems to. So we go to Sirius, the city of something. The timer increases with each enemy you defeat. However, the enemy's weapon penetrates defenses. Defeat all the enemies before time runs out. So this is probably just a 5-for-3 matchup. Let's see. Five characters. So we have 50 seconds. Gotta defeat them quickly. Penetrates defenses, so don't go bother with the guard. Just go all out on the offense. 39 seconds. You get your health back, but you only gain 10 seconds back. Now, I don't know if there's significance if you always only gain 10 seconds back, or if there's some reason you gain less or more seconds, but it seems that 10 seconds is the standard. So just go after Cassandra with all your might. Once again, hyper offense. If you can get them close, it's harder in this arena. If you can get them close to the ring out edge, I would do that. We get a perfect, and once again, another 10 seconds obtained. 49 seconds for 3 more fighters. But these ones are a little more difficult. Cassandra can be annoying, but here we have Raphael, who is much more annoying if he gets off to a good start. And we get him up against the wall there. We end up with a few combos to throw him off balance. We try for a throw, it doesn't work. But we get another perfect with our hyper offense idea. Now granted, the timer will not go above 50 seconds, I don't believe. Looking at that, unless we happen to be at that equal 40, I'm not sure. But yeah, so just make sure, you know, finish your fights in about 20 odd seconds or so. You'll have plenty of time to defeat each one. Okay, so now, and once again, Ivy's taking quite a bit of time with her. We're already down below 40 seconds, and this is why I say make sure to finish your fights in about 20 seconds or so. You don't want to be caught in this situation without 50 seconds. Had I done worse against Raphael, we'd be looking really close at that timer. And now we went all the way down to 25 seconds. Ivy took quite a bit of time. Back up to 10 seconds for the final fight against Xianghua. And see if we can make it happen. Very odd sword for her to wield. It's curved and she's holding it wrong. She's holding it like a reverse blade sword or something. Unless that's intentional. You know, she doesn't want to kill or something like that. Anyways. Boom, and then you just get the heavy combos on her, of course. And interesting grapple, but boom, a little bit of stabby stab, twice, ends up working. And up to level 16. There we go. Class goes up. And now we are on to the next mission, which is another arena, it seems. Ooh. Baldo's always fun. Not. Baldo's. Knock the enemy against the wall. Utilize wall combos to defeat the enemy. So this time the ground is no help to us. We have to make sure we get him to the wall. Won't be surprised if you watch me fail this one a few times, guys. Let's see. We get him to the wall. Now we've got to keep him at the wall. Yeah, with the stabby. But you have to connect the final one and he can't move. And he grapples us and boom. Okay. So we got to get him close to the wall again. There we go. Now we need to stab, stab, stab. Boom. There we go. Okay, so you only really need to do it once and then go crazy. But if you get him twice, you're going to kill him. Just like with the guard impact deal. So, one did like 3/4 of his health. The next match is Eo's Vase up against Keelik. Airborne time is increased due to the blasted wind from below. Defeat the enemy using air combos. So we got to try to hit him up in the air. Something that I don't do a whole lot with my style of play with Link. He's got his air combos, of course, but yeah, and see, he doesn't do a whole lot. So now you got it. The trick is, though, the move getting him in the air isn't what hurts him. It's what you do afterwards. So as you guys can see, try to hit him up into the air and then time your strikes. Does quite a bit of damage. You have 50 seconds to do it. Keelik's not that hard. 3 or 4 hits, you get him in the air, you're good to go. And boom, we continue our way as an Iron Fighter at level 17. Okay, quite a few missions here, but all of them pretty straightforward. And I don't believe I don't believe that dungeon is unlockable until the second way through of Weapon Master Mode. So though you guys may be a little daunted looking at that dungeon, I don't believe it's a thing. So here we're up against Varel, who of course is Nightmare. Once again, he's got a healing version. I believe that's the growth version we just unlocked. And boom, just go for the heavy ring out if you can't defeat him. Ring outs are definitely easy against guys like Nightmare. We unlock another feature and elevate ourselves to a bronze fighter. And let's see, it's a new costume for Nightmare has been added, so you do not need to buy the third costume for Nightmare. You can get the Siegfried full knight armor just by defeating that mission. So now we unlock another chapter. By defeating that mission, you do unlock the next chapter, Algol, which is chapter 9 officially. So that's how you do it. You don't need to beat all the things. With your final blow, Varel collapsed. His face showed a look of surprise as if he could not believe that he had actually lost. It was over and you had won. Hee hee, I see that you had the spirit sword. To think that feeding on the power made me more vulnerable. I never considered that. Varel slid to the floor and ceased to move. He had the power of Soul Edge within himself. The gates existed to prevent the cursed sword from getting out. He saw through the way they worked using the methods unknown. He called the power of the dark sword into himself in order to pass through the gates. The gates deliberately allowed him through because their very purpose was to seal that power inside. And yes, I missed the end of the first page there. The power that Varel obtained in the Forbidden Grounds was that of Soul Edge itself. Mizar, Aldebaran, and Merrick. Varel had fallen, but with the 3 gates destroyed, Soul Edge was in an extremely dangerous state, and restoring the barrier would take time. Someone needed to keep watch over Soul Edge until the preparations for the creation of a new barrier was completed. Let me guess, that's me. Trust me, there's only 10 chapters, so yeah, chapter 9. We're nearing the end of Weapons Master Mode the first time. May I ask of you, as the vanquisher of Varel and the wielder of the Spirit Sword, you were the most appropriate for the task. After some brief thought, you accepted her request. In order to handle the evil sword safely, it was necessary to first complete the purification of the Spirit Sword. After learning from Tristy about an old man with the power to do so, you set off to find him. You traveled to Algol, the land of exiles. Alright, so there's 4 missions in this chapter. Now, but we weren't quite finished with mission 8. Or chapter 8. There's still 1 mission left to do. You cannot reach, as I said, I don't believe you can reach that dungeon until we've gone through Weapons Master Mode at least once. So don't worry about the dungeon. Once again, dungeons, you know, dungeons aren't as fun. Dungeons are tedious. You don't feel like you get a lot done, and they're very straightforward, right? You don't get all these fun little additions. And obviously we are poisoned to fight Berserker, so we're slowly losing health, so our idea is to try to wring this guy out quickly, or just kick the shit out of him like we just did. And Berserkers, once again, we hate Berserkers. But that was just a quick boom. Now that's the end of chapter 8 as far as we can go. But if you do that mission up to the north, you do unlock another chapter. It's not mission 10, but you unlock Polox, or chapter 10. Which is another sub-chapter called The Road to Arcturus. And the location you sought was located to the north of war-torn Merak. Pollux, known for being the birthplace of an ancient hero, had cut off all ties to the outside world a great many years ago. Information about the region was scarce. It was truly a land of mystery. There was a good reason you were going through the trouble of heading all the way out to a place like Pollux, for someone had seen a figure resembling Leon heading to the north. So now this is more, once again, the sub-chapter 3. This is more of a personal venture rather than dealing with Varel. So we can go to the Eternal Palace. And once again, that dungeon to the corner there is not a spot we have access to yet. The ground is strewn with landmines. Falling down means certain death. Defeat the enemy under this condition. Oh yeah, you can't fall once. You gotta defeat either one of you. You can't fall down.
Final battle. Fight.
Like so. And of course, this is why it's Talum, because her and Taki are the guarding fiends. They're the guarding experts, right? So, yeah, we're into this one for sure. Yeah, so that dungeon over there, you don't access that one yet. You only fight these 2 missions. Might as well do them. They're a little difficult. You just have to get lucky with this one, to be honest with you. The right strike, the right timing, and then it's all over. You might do this 3 or 4 times. We'll see how many times it takes me. Twice, right? So, I mean, you can easily fail this 5 or 6 times, but when you think about it, 5 or 6 fails in this is literally a minute. Like, a minute or less. So, if you fail 5 times, who cares? So, yeah. Obviously, we took a break there. Now we're going through Chapter 9. We're not going to continue the sub-chapter for some reason. Not sure why my decision there. Obviously, I stopped gaming for the night. And I forgot where we left off, so pin a pin in the rest of that one. So only the enemy's weapon is visible. Defeat the enemy under this condition. We already did this with Berserker in the first sub-chapter in the dungeon. So, and of course it's Astaroth, so isn't that interesting? Another guy where it's like, yeah, fuck it, and just swing, once again, don't get too focused on it, just hack yourself through it. You might not be able to see him prep stuff, but you can easily just, grapple him, do your main moves, try whatever works for you, and lo and behold, he had a good advantage there. He did some heavy damage, but we managed to pull through and level 21. Right like that. And I did confirm you need to reach level 72 as an Edge Master. Yeah. Unseen Forces push the combatants together to defeat the opponents under this condition. Now, this is the mission that I personally use. So this is where we purchase a magic sword for the first time. I showcase this outside of the shopping video we're going to do because I get really ticked off at this one. I feel like I need the magic sword to win. Then I don't end up equipping it because I lost a bunch of times. Because a bonus is available during the matches. So you get a lot of money for doing this, but it's quite difficult, and I was getting really frustrated, so I was trying to buy something that would give me an edge, and I thought the magical sword would. But then I said, screw it. Or I forgot to add it, and I just said, screw it here. But yeah, I believe I lost this about 7 times, which I don't showcase. But yeah, the timer is you only have 15 seconds to win, your health doesn't recover, and you got to defeat 4 opponents. Most of the time, it's the combination of finding the right balance and getting lucky. Like, you really want to ring out your opponents because of the timer, more than anything. Because trying to defeat them all while not taking a shit ton of damage, quite difficult. See, 7, 6, 5. So if he starts guarding, I'm screwed. Thankfully he doesn't, but 1 second remaining. And look, we dominated that fight. We were killing him. But 15 seconds, if he lets up a guard, you waste time, you're SOL. And you got to defeat all 4 opponents in a row. Like, you don't have a break. You don't have a checkpoint. So it's very difficult. So this is where, yeah, see, Raphael's guarding and stuff like that. You get a stupid amount of gold, though. Look at that amount of gold. And this is where we're like, uh-oh, boom. But 20,000 gold. So if we defeat Mitsurugi here, 15 seconds left. Quarter health bar, by the way. You just got to go up with that hyper offense. You don't have a choice. You can't be defensive. You can't do any of that because you'll lose due to the timer. But if we manage to win this, tripping them up with our favorite combo, getting those A's, and boom, you can get up to, I think the best is like 36,000, but we got 28,400 gold just for that. That like times 6 star money. That's a crazy amount. That stupid amount. Maybe not times 6, maybe like times 3, but still. Stupid amount there. Okay, so that's... Oh, you're going to be coming back to that mission a lot, by the way. You're going to be coming back to that mission a lot. This mission is kind of difficult. This, I believe, is up against Charade, where he's just legs. Only one part of the enemy can be seen. Defeat the enemy under these conditions. Yeah, I believe I lost this mission a few times. Not sure if I'm going to showcase that. But yeah, because a lot of your, obviously, a lot of your attacks are going to miss. A lot of your combos are going to miss. Now, Link has, of course, his overhand that works very well against Charade. And if you can lock up on the first one, you know, some of the stab moves work, but he knows how to guard. Because he only needs to guard one section, so you really have to utilize it to your advantage. But boom, there you go. Nightmare is another great option for this. Same with Keelik, because Nightmare has the overhand Y, which just slams down everything from top, middle, and bottom section. So if you can get him in a chain of that, you should be pretty good too. Okay, and boom, we defeat Chapter 9, because you can't do, of course, that there's a final mission there in Chapter 9 that you also cannot unlock yet. We will showcase how to unlock that later, I believe, but that once again, I believe that does require that for your second run-through. So Chapter 10 is entitled The Final Battle. 3 missions. Excellent work. The dark energy had been infested in Soul Calibur was washed away by the strength of your will. Spirit Sword's form changed and began to pulse with holy energy. Eventually, it completely transformed into sparkling points of light which flowed into the air, heading southeast to Antares. Do not worry, when the time comes, you two will surely meet again. The sword naturally seeks out the one most suited to wield it. I've been waiting for you, Griever. I am sorry to have to tell you this, but things are not faring well. What awaited you upon your return to the Grand Shrine of Merrick was the news that while you were in Algol, Leon had entered Antares, the land where the demonic sword was sealed. He infiltrated the shrine when Thirsty was gravely wounded and was in no condition to fight. Before Tristy had even finished speaking, you were already on the gate and on your way. You have to stop him. The Midnight Coliseum, a dungeon, which is going to be a bit of a trek because it's the Chapter 10 dungeon, and then another battle with Inferno. Your health is low. Defeat all the enemies with this condition. Alright, here we go. Master Sword time. So we haven't unlocked anything in a little while buying the Magic Sword because we were pissed. So five enemies. You got to fight 5 females. Obviously, you have to defeat. Go for the ring outs because you do recover health, but not, as you can see, a whole lot. So you really want to go for. You can go on the defense if you like. Personally, I like to push them to the edge and then hit them with an overhand to ring them out. And one thing we have been locking ourselves out of pretty much this entire time, as you guys know, at this point I know how to use the very cheap arm breaking throw of Link. When I first played arcade mode and started this and stuff, no, I was unfamiliar with the control, so I was like, what happens to that one that you toss them, you know? You break your arm and then toss them behind you. I found that out, but I realized that it was incredibly cheap once I realized how to do it. So if you've noticed, I have almost never, I think maybe once or twice in a dungeon, but I almost never utilize it in Weapon Master Mode up to this point. Because I'm trying to not cheese the game. Cheese away once you enter after beating Chapter 10 here. Cheese away, because the difficulty spike is real. It is real. The conditions get harder for the second version of every mission, and yeah, it's not fun. And we defeat Taki there. We're doing pretty well. Because this difficulty level I like to think is like normal, and the second run through is certainly hard, and there's a big difference between normal and hard AI. If I wanted to put like a number on it, like if very hard was 10 and easy was a 1, let's say normal's a 5, hard's a 7.5 or an 8. Like it's a noticeable difference and can get incredibly frustrating. So any mission that you struggled with in this version is going to be a lot worse for you. If you struggle just because like, whoa, I got lucky there, don't count on your luck. So Court of the Dead, I believe, I'm going to guess 18 rooms. It's a long dungeon. I'm going to guess 18 rooms. And of course, we're going to go through all the rooms because we want to make sure we unlock everything. This is a video guide. Want to make sure we don't miss any hidden secrets. You know, any weapon that is not in. For all I know, there's weapons that aren't in the shop, and there's some weapons that are only in a dungeon at this point. I'm not aware because, once again, no guide on the internet had the complete, you know, absolutely everything checkmarked. And some of the sources, as I said at the beginning of this video guide, and the first video, some of them said you could not unlock Assassin, Berserker, or Lizardman in Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube. It wasn't possible. And I'm like, well, I know that's false because I remember doing it as a kid, first and foremost. And second of all, there's literally 3 spots down there in the, in the character selection screen. So I'm like, nice guide, but spreading false information, so... Yeah, this is why we do what we do. So, Court of the Dead, we're progressing all right. And then, of course, one of our favorites, Astaroth. So, it's Berserker that gives us a tough time. Astaroth, we generally do this too. Which is kick his ass and then ring him out. Yeah, if I remember, this one's a whole square all the way down to the bottom. And then you go inwards to the boss, so it's quite a few. Oh, man, Assassin. And, we're poisoned, so that's not good. We really got to step up the pace. Hyper offense into the... Well, almost. There we are, ring out. Before we lose all our health. But, of course, most dungeons, as I said, other than that sub-chapter 1, most dungeons you recover all your health, so... Not too bad, not too bad.
Final battle. Fight.
Final battle. Okay. Against Yoshimitsu. Maybe not so great. Oh man, those acrobatics really getting us. So we're trying to go for the stab. We go for a quick grapple to try to gain some momentum. It's working, but he's able to jump away pretty good. We just need that one hit. There we go. Got him. We got him. And another win. Alright, so another battle. Oh, it's not going as crazy as I thought. Oh, is this the weird L shape? There might be a chessboard like L shape. So now we're up against Taki for this one. Once again, this is just more tedious than anything else. There's no crazy time limit. There's no insane conditions or something like that. You just gotta... And Taki, once again, is a guarding... master. She knows how to time herself so that she anticipates your grapples really, really well. And as you can see, she's kicking the absolute crap out of us. My solution is, once again, and she uses a bunch of footwork. Taki's actually very difficult when the AI is on, like right now. She's very difficult to deal with. She'll counter your grapples. She'll do, like this. Like, we got lucky with a few combos. Honestly, she kicked the living shit out of us. The damage doesn't even reflect that. She was winning and dominating that whole fight. So, don't feel bad if there's some enemies, like for me it's Taki and Berserker that I struggle with. Don't feel bad, Her and her other outfit. Oh, we're still, we're trying to guard, she knows how to get us, And then we get lucky right there and nearly get the ring out, and then she decides to do half our health bar with one combo, like, goddamn. But we actually managed to win that one, so boom. Right, this is the weird... Okay, this is not the dungeon I was thinking. I was thinking it was the dungeon that sort of goes like almost all the way around the border and then goes up. I thought that was Court of the Dead, but that's another dungeon you guys have the chance to look forward to watching me play. And then, okay, Ivy, that's enough. Sword, face. There we go. There, let's even these odds. Like, goddamn. And now a new feature was unlocked by doing that one. So once again, pay attention to where I did this to get Ambassador. Another weapon for Sung Mina. So there's another weapon added down below. Okie dokie. Yeah, and it obviously reaches a dead end and stuff like that. Most of them do. I believe the boss is actually in the far right corner of this one. And here's Siegfried in his as Siegfried in his full armor, though he's not using one of his more holy shit. Damn. Okay, let's get the momentum back. We might be able to still do it. Yep, okay. That was a upscale win. Let's go. Siegfried showing... I was too focused on showcasing, like, oh, look at Siegfried in his holy knight gear, but then it turned into holy shit. Yeah. So quite a few rooms in this one, as you guys can tell. Not a short dungeon, but it's technically the last dungeon in the final chapter. Final chapter is chapter 10, so... Just think, you gotta go through them all again. Yay. Yeah, I find dungeons I understand why they're here. I understand why they were implemented, and they are a cool feature. They're just my least favorite thing to do because I find them very tedious to play through. Like, I think it might be more interesting if, now once again, this is GameCube, like, I'm not complaining. Soul Calibur 2 is still probably, this or Soul Calibur 3 are my favorite Soul Calibur games. Not that I've played them all, and holy shit, Berserker always getting the better of us, my god. But I think it might have been a little more interesting had, for at least the larger dungeons, you have 3 or 4 points where you get one of those the wind is pulling you together thing, like defeat the enemy under these conditions or something like that. Or, you know, you get a lot of gold or must force a ring out or something like that. Like, even though it would be more challenging, at least it would break up the monotonous of going through the dungeon, you know. Because, I mean, this will be the 11th room we've played, and it's just like, okay, at least we're playing different characters, but they're all the same stage, and it's all like, there's no gimmicks, and that's sort of the fun of Weapons Master Mode, is that it can be frustrating certain missions 100%, trust me. I was pissed off at a few missions in the hard mode version, and you guys will see that when you see me fail. But it's 100%, it would break up the monotony of it all, I think. I'm using that word correctly, aren't I? Yeah, I think so. Anyways, so, yes, that's 11 rooms done. And we're still not done. So what did I say? There's at least 15, 18 rooms? Did I call 18 or did I say 15? Yeah. Okay, Taki. Once again, another Taki fight, which once again we are not good at. I'm trying to guard break her a little bit there. Or at least guard impact. It does seem to work because it brings some momentum back in our favor. So I guess that's the one. Maybe that's the trick to fighting against Taki, right? Could be, could be. 12 rooms. There's at least 14 rooms. Did I say 20? I don't remember anymore. Anyways, yeah. Still not the longest dungeon though. There is the longest dungeon is annoying. Because I believe the longest dungeon is I think it's 30 rooms. Pretty sure it's 30 rooms. Yeah. Or at least close to it. It's like 25, 26 rooms, something like that. And we defeat Yoshimitsu pretty quick there. Once again, no unlockables thus far other than the one Sungmina weapon. But you can never be too careful. We already found the boss room, obviously. Now you gotta defeat these other ones just in case, because you never know. And it's very unlikely that any of the middle rooms, so you guys don't have to do this. You know, I'm doing it for you. So if you guys, you know, don't want to have to play through the missions, once again, you don't get a crazy amount of gold or experience or anything like that. 300 gold a shot. There's better ways to earn gold at this point, especially. So if you guys just want to go to the, you know, the dead ends, collect your free weapons, and then just head to the boss, that's why I'm here. You can skip to this part of the video when you see the whole map, and, you know. And against Yoshimitsu, oh, what the hell? Okay, he did some crazy teleportation crap. And he's quite the guarder when he wants to be. He likes to guard, he likes his footwork. He always guards that right, see, that one that gives me the momentum. Always the attack that gives me, and that little kick, and he was trying to be too fancy. And a new feature was unlocked. So that's 2 weapons you can get here. You obtain Sinvel, or Sinvel. The weapon for Cassandra, I believe it was. Or Sophia. One of them. I think it was Cassandra's. Anyway, here we go up against Leon as, of course, the final boss of the final dungeon, the Court of the Dead. Fight Leon one more time as the boss. So you get 2 weapons in this dungeon. 2 weapon unlocks for free. Plus you get... And no, I never did confirm if you could get all the ones in the shop instead. That you don't have to unlock a single weapon in that way or method. I assume you don't, but I'm not 100%. So just do what I do and ring them out. And boom. And we get no feature, by the way. Level 25, class up, but you get no feature for defeating Leon the final time. All you do is go to Tartarus. We have to defeat Inferno a second time in Weapon Master mode. So, here we go. Up against him. Let's do this. And he does not mirror us. He's got that really ugly version, the full growth one or whatever like that, the live one. So obviously, as you can tell, we don't do a whole lot of damage to Inferno. He is very... We try for the grapple. It's not working. So we're going for the sword slashes. But we are doing a very minimum amount of damage to him. Yeah, like that. I did enough damage there to basically KO a regular character. He's going to take quite a bit. You know, don't get frustrated. Now he's Cervantes. But he's going to be able to do regular damage to you. So just take a note of that. And yeah, some of your attacks are obviously going to do better if you have a really heavy combo, something like that you're familiar with. Use it. And now we're up against... And once again, see, they have their true soul edges, right? The ones that are like embodiment and living and stuff like that. It increases their stats as similarly, as you guys can tell. But we've got them down to the wire here. And just one more hit will do it. Oh, but we're so close. And he was Raphael, and he nearly got us. But boom, chapter clear. New feature unlocked. We're officially level 27 with their latest feature unlocked. And what do we get for beating Weapon Master Mode? Weapon Master Mode opening is now available. So that's... part of the others. It goes in the collection box. Let's go. Isn't that awesome? The last remains of Inferno's flames surrounding the blade were carried away by a breeze and faded unto nothingness. Standing before the sword you so long sought after, I can only wonder at what thoughts must have passed through your mind as you learned the truth of its awesome and terrible power. Soul Edge's legacy lives to this day. It most likely will live on forever, for humans will always desire the ultimate weapon. Look at the stack of stuff there. See the shores. Unfortunately, though, you triumphed in battle and claimed Soul Edge, your name does not remain in history. Only the name Veril, the man who steeped the world in fear for his quest for the demonic weapon, remains as a brief footnote in the annals of history. Many years have passed since then, and something. One time a master swordsman wielded the evil blade, another time a pirate, then a pitiful youth. I have no doubts that the legend of the demonic sword and the spirit sword will continue on forever, and I shall continue to watch over them. Something, something, something. By Tristy. Yeah. And once again, that's not my editing. This is the actual end credits, you know. But yay, we won. Congratulations to us. We even got 2 exclamation marks for playing Soul Calibur 2222. You shall find your place in history and become a legend. A legend that shall never die. There we go. So, that's the official end to the official story outside of arcade mode and stuff like that. That's the official end of the game. Now, once again, we did go through the chapter text, like the main chapter text. But seriously, read not only the character profiles, but seriously read the all the mission prompts, because it does tell quite a story. And in my youth, when I first played this game and stuff, I never read that stuff, and I was like, who's Veril? Who's Leon? Like, what? It's Raphael. Why are they calling him Leon and shit? And why am I fighting Inferno twice and stuff? Like, I wasn't someone who didn't like to read as a kid or something like that, but I just didn't. I was used to games showing me cutscenes, telling me the story. If it was important to the story, if it was a story, I was given cutscenes, right? Like, ever since the N64 days. So, by the time we got to the midway through the GameCube games, any story beats was a cutscene. So, this was very different for me. And so, I missed out on not a bad written story. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of poetic license, there's a lot of fun and stuff like that. But it's the current story for Soul Calibur 2, and it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one at all. It's definitely, it feels a little bit role-playing, Dungeons and Dice, that kind of idea. You know, insert yourself version. But it's still very, I thought it was a pretty good story and stuff. So even though I only read the brief, you know, chapter opening notes and stuff like that, it works. Works as a pretty solid story. And, yeah, but then you'll beat Weapon Master Mode here, obviously. And once you successfully do that, you get to play through it a second time. So that was my first run. Now, we did miss out on one mission there, but it doesn't matter because you basically play it on New Game Plus, right? So any mission that you did not win, and as you guys saw, some missions in like Chapter 8 and 9 were not playable at the time. They're not unlockable due to various requirements, right? And I'll be showcasing how you unlock those, like what's the requirements, like how you reach those red missions that you couldn't reach before, those red dungeons that you couldn't reach, even though you have the chapter open, there's no line, no quest line to draw to it. So those, and unfortunately that's why there's a lot more dungeon crawling in the second run through the game, because you have 2 to I think 3 more dungeons. You got 3 dungeons, 2 at minimum, maybe 3, that you don't, you only play through, like you have to play through every mission twice. Every mission on the map has a second version to play. And we just played the first version of a lot of those missions. But the ones you leave red, you need to play the original version of the mission, then you gotta play the second version of the mission. You see what I'm saying? So any dungeons we left red, I mean not left, we didn't have a choice, you gotta go through that dungeon, all through it, defeat it once you unlock it, and then you gotta go through it all again. Every mission on the map has to be done twice in a left and right, or a west and east, or a and B version, like a two-sided disc, you know. Here's the A side, here's the B side. Nobody else is gonna get that because, yeah, unless people who are like the vintage records and stuff, people are gonna understand, you know, the 8 tracks and, you know, the A and B side of tapes and things like that. Yeah, I am really dating myself with this one, but what else are we going to talk about while the credits roll? Because I believe there might be something here at the end of the credits, or maybe I just showcased them because I was really lazy on the editing and said, yeah, just play the whole credits and call the end of the video. So that's entirely possible as well, 100%. But so far, I think we're doing pretty good on the collection side of things. I don't think we're quite halfway. I don't know what the number total is, but we're probably in the, I'm going to say, close to 40 of the actual main collection. Once again, I'm showcasing the weapons collection as well. So the numbers here are never going to add up total to the 88, obviously. You know, there's 200 plus weapons. This was just to showcase how to get everything, right? Everything in the game, plus complete the actual museum collection of unlocking everything that you can showcase in your museum under the museum tag, right, in your collection. So everything that basically gets a prompt of unlocked a new feature, and you get the ring, you know, and then the weapons one obviously has the different musical note. So yeah, produced by Namco, and we beat Weapon Master Mode. Yeah. So yeah, with that and the 2 thumbs up I just gave, we are done Weapons Master Mode for the first run of Soul Calibur 222. And as I said, I don't have the numbers in front of me quite yet, but I like to believe we're in the high 30s, maybe 40. Probably not past the 40-way mark, and obviously we have a ton of weapons to unlock. But we'll be doing a shopping episode, I think, is next. I believe we go through and we do we go through with all that gold we collected by going through the game once. We only bought the one magical sword that one time with Link getting frustrated, and I showcased that, so we bought the magical sword one time. But once again, you can buy that at multiple shops and stuff like that. So if you weren't sure what chapter I bought it on or something like that, trust me, it's not something super hidden. But yeah, we'll be going through that probably next. I think that's the next video up. that I just edited. So yeah, we'll be going through that. That's a shorter video, obviously, but we'll be racking up quite a few numbers under the weapons collection number in for the next video. So yeah, and then after that, of course, we will follow along doing the hard mode, or the second bout, the new game plus, whatever you want to call it, of Weapons Master version 2. So yeah, which is necessary to once again unlock the last 3 characters, get finish off the modes, the stages, anything like that that's remaining. So yeah, that's it from me, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys are enjoying this guide, and we'll see you all back here next time, gamers. Have a good one. Sayonara.